Hello, and welcome here to the Trackify in 30-minute webinar, how to get started and how to get the most out of installing Trackify the right way, and how to get more out of Trackify this way than you would get out of Shopify's basic pixel integration. So welcome to the webinar, and let's do a quick sound check here. Leave a comment for me if you can hear me all right. Seems like everything is good. All right, great. So to begin with, let me just walk you through this here is a brand new install in a demo shop of the app here. And we're just going to walk through real quick here in 2 minutes, going through the 3 install steps that are on the welcome page. And then we'll dive further in. I'm going to log in here with a different profile than my own. That has the purpose that I'm going to be able to show you everything that's part of this profile, whereas I wouldn't be able to show you everything that's in my account, just because there is more client access stuff in there that I can't just freely show here on the webinar. So bear with me on that, but it will also make it a little bit more lifelike for you, where you may not have access to 1,000 business managers and 1 million ad accounts and 1 million pixels. Okay, so let's just put the master pixel in here. That is the first step on the install in the welcome page. I'm just gonna use this training account here. So this first pop-up shows all the ad accounts that the logged in profile has access to in any business manager in Facebook. And then the second drop-down will show the pixels that are accessible to this account here. So I'm just going to select this training accounts pixel. So it's possible that you only have one account show up in this dropdown and only one account show up, only one pixel show up in this dropdown, and that's perfectly fine. It just reflects exactly the assets that are on Facebook that your profile that you're logged in with has access to. And that also kind of covers the question that comes up a lot. What if I let my VA work with Trackify? Will they have access to everything that I see, or what's going on with that? And the answer is, well, Trackify is like a remote control of the Facebook assets, and it reflects exactly the kind of access privileges that you have given them access to through your business manager. So they can see exactly what they can see there also through Trackify, no more and no less. So we're going to add the pixel here, get a confirmation that the pixel has been saved. Fine, and it automatically flips this first step here to green and then goes into the second step, where we have this little tracking script here that is responsible for firing the purchase events on the thank you pages in the Shopify shop. So very simple, you just hit copy here, that copies the code. Then you go to checkout settings. That opens the correct page in your Shopify admin. And all you do is scroll down here where you see additional scripts. And here you just simply paste that in. And there it goes. And then you hit save up here. And you're done with this step. You can just close this and you're done with that. And you can actually then click, I've done this. Well, that collapses this. But let's look at the additional thing here. So, and it very important part to make sure that you don't get duplicate pixel events in your Shopify store is that you remove any other pixel integration that you have natively installed and running in Shopify. And this link here kind of helps you with that, because it takes you to the page where those settings might be. If they are set up with the default or basic Facebook pixel integration in Shopify, you would see that right here, right? So if the Facebook pixel is set up here, it would be set up in here. There's actually a separate video. It's a little bit complex if the pixel has been set up. It is nowadays set up through a native app that's called the Facebook app. And so there are ways to use the Facebook app without running the Facebook pixel through it. And we have a very simple, well, it's not necessarily so simple, but it's a concise video that shows you that. I don't want to waste time here, in our goal being that we want to get the most out of Trackify in 30 minutes to show you through this. The most important part is here, the message is to make sure that your Facebook pixel is not in here. So let's just go into the Shopify store instead, and let's just double check and make sure we're using Facebook Pixel Helper to check if the Facebook Pixel is now firing and if the Trackify app is the one that is generating the events. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to install the Facebook Pixel Google extension. You can simply get that if you don't know, if you don't have that already. Just look for, do a Google search for Facebook Pixel Helper, and that'll take you right here to the extension store. And here you can, it would say add to Chrome. In my case, it's already installed here. So once it's installed, you see this show up as this little gray box here in your browser bar. And as you can see here from the previous load, there's no pixel firing here. That is before we installed the pixel in Trackify just now. So now I'm just going to refresh the page. I'm going to hold down the Shift key while I click the reload button up here. And we should then hopefully find that, yes, there you go. So this is what the Pixel Helper looks like if it indicates that there are, in fact, Facebook Pixel events firing on this page that you're on. So you can click on that and look at them. So in this case, you see the Pixel ID here. That is the Pixel ID that we've inserted. And you can see the event types that are fired. And it's wonderful here because there's only one pixel and there's only one event. And there are no duplicates and nothing is wrong here. Here, I'm going to show you a quick trick and tip that'll make your life with Facebook Pixel Helper a little bit easier. You see this pop-out button here or icon? Yeah, go ahead and click on that. So you see that extracts kind of makes this a floating window. And unfortunately, you can't set this so it actually stays on top. Like when you click on the other window here in the background, it kind of goes into the back, but you can just simply, size that down like this and kind of have them go side by side like that. And this is a really cool way to check on your Facebook Pixel events as they go by. So if we go in over here and kind of browse through the store a little bit, you can see here, oh, wow, there's a new event right here. It's called View Category. That event is a special event that is fired by Trackify. That's not a standard event in Shopify. It's one of the examples of, why sometimes we get the question, why is Trackify better than Shopify? Well, it's in these nitty-gritty details here, but also in some bigger picture things that we're going to go over in just a minute here. So view category event is just one of the event types, an example of another event type that is firing that on all collections pages. And then if you click through a particular product, you're going to see, again, the view content event come along here. And the view content event, if you inspect that and kind of look through it, it has, it shows event parameters in here that are native to Trackify. And that's another example of, the things that are better in Trackify and that cause better traction and better tracking and better audience building in Trackify. So that is the main thing about the Facebook Pixel, is that it allows you cool features in Facebook that is building audiences that you can retarget, building audiences that you can exclude from your targeting, and building audiences that you can use to let Facebook give you lookalike audiences of groups of people that are similar to the groups of people that have taken certain actions in your Shopify store. And that's why you want to be able to track with as much differentiation as possible, so that you can't just say, okay, well, they looked at a product, but you can actually see, okay, that product is tagged by a certain tag, it's part of a certain category. Here's, for example, the content name. This product doesn't have a tag on it, but so this is some of the examples of how you can create more differentiated events, and therefore you can differentiate your audiences better, so that you can specifically exclude or include or build lookalike audiences based on people who have taken very specific actions. All right, so that's the main purpose of Facebook pixel tracking in the first place. And that is also, that's how Trackify is better than Shopify, because it creates these events that are more refined than others. Now, when you're in Trackify or when you're in Shopify, in your background page here, you might also see Facebook pixel events firing. That has nothing to do with the with the pixel events that Trackify is generating on the storefront. So just, look at the Facebook pixel helper here in your storefront, and that's what matters. Now, let's go back into Trackify here. And now we can collapse this step, and let's get through step 3 here. This is a very cool feature in Trackify. It is running a catalog so that you can do your dynamic product ad retargeting based on the Trackify catalog feed. All right, so we're going to just create a test catalog here. I'm just going to put some sort of number code in here that shows that just lets me recognize that pixel. And again, I'm in the business manager here, and I only have access to the business managers that this profile has access to. And I'm just going to go ahead and choose this one as an event source. I can now access all the pixels that are part of this business manager and that this profile has access to. Now, here's one important piece of information that a lot of times gets a little bit confusing, and that is that creating a new catalog in any business manager is only possible if the logged in profile is the admin of the business manager. So it's not just the admin of the ad account or the admin of the ad account that belongs to the pixel that you're using. You have to actually be the admin of the business manager or an admin of the business manager to be able to create a new catalog. That's very important because it's actually now already done in Trackify so that there's no error can happen, because you're going to see only business managers show up here that you're actually admin of. So if you don't see your catalog, your business manager here in this dropdown, that most likely means that you're not the admin of the business manager that you're intending to target here. So yes, you have to go back to the admin or to the owner of that business manager and make sure that they add you as the admin if they want you to create a new catalog. All right, so let's say now we are an admin. We actually are an admin here. So let's go to, again, this training accounts pixel. Where did it go? Here we go. That's the one that we're using up here. And so that's the one that we're also going to want to use for building the catalog. Now, the next field here is choosing a default Google category. So that's a Google category that is going to be applied to all catalogs on your shop that go into the catalog, to all products in the shop that go into the catalog. And you just want to, this is not actually that important that is a perfect match for every single product. The important part is that this field is set, and you should just simply choose a value here that fits for most of the products in your store. So some typical keywords here or categories are something related to shirts. Let's say you have a t-shirt shop, right? You can see here, you simply type in a keyword and that narrows down this list. It's a very, very long list of Google categories. It narrows it down to all the categories that have your keyword here. So sometimes you have to experiment a little bit until you find what's the best match. But here, so if it's shirts, t-shirts, then you would just simply select that one. If it's something else, if you're selling kitchen utensils, just type in kitchen, and you can see here some, still a pretty long list with kitchen, but you can refine that, or you can kind of go for the more generic, more broad category, but just simply selecting kitchen and dining in this case, right? So I'm just gonna go back to the shirts category here for no specific reason. So that's that. So after you've selected all these criteria here, so you simply click on Save and Build Catalog, and you'll get the confirmation here that the feed has successfully been set up, and the catalog will now show up, be uploaded to Facebook, and will populate there. Now, so that is the basic install. Now let's go to the next step, and that would be going to the Pixel engine and putting in a backup pixel. Backup pixels are really good, are really a good idea to use for the purpose of just in case if you get blocked from Facebook with one of your pixels, you can simply then go in and use the backup pixel and put that into your ads and run ads again from another account, or however, depends on how you're blocked off. You can select a pixel that belongs to a different business manager, or you can just simply select a pixel that belongs to the same business manager, just a different pixel, just a different ad account. However you prefer, what kind of layer of separation, levels of separations you prefer, do that. And so simply you do this by going in here and adding a pixel from an ad account that gives you a very similar form to the one that was in the welcome screen. So we're going to just go, in this case, for the same ad account, and we're going to just simply go for this Trackify backup pixel here, and we're going to select here as pixel type master pixel. All right, so add pixel, there you go. And that pixel is then going to show up here as a secondary pixel. Now, Facebook currently forces you to register your domain with the pixel that you want to use to run ads on the pixel. And then it also forces you to register up to 8 different events that you want to use for tracking in your ads. So this is a new limitation that Facebook has introduced under pressure from Apple, where when they introduced iOS 14, they made themselves the good cops in data protection and privacy, and Facebook had to apparently abide by the demands that were put on by Apple. And so they're now forcing you to limit your tracking in ads. So that means optimization for ads and all these kinds of things to 8 specific events. And so you have to register the pixel in Facebook, and you just go through the normal steps that are explained in Facebook in your ads manager. I'm not going to go through this as part of the Trackify installation because that's stuff that you need to do anyway. Trackify doesn't help with that, but you can simply just do it the same way as you used to. All right. So in this case, what I would recommend is that you register your training pixel, whatever the pixel is, your main pixel, as the pixel. You register your main domain of the Shopify store with that pixel, and then you select 8 events that you want to register. Start kind of with the back of the funnel purchase, and then kind of work your way forward. You can also still use multiple pixel for tracking different niches at the same time. Some of our users do that very successfully, and they use up to 8 different pixels and just register the purchase event, because that's the most important event to be using for ad optimization anyway. So that's the important part there. Now, let me show you the server-side API feature that is, it's disabled by default. And what that does is it sends events via the Facebook pixels directly from our server, from the Trackify server. So the difference is, if someone has blocked Facebook pixel events either in their iOS 14 device or in the specific browser that they're using, or in form of some ad blockers or any of those, if they have blocked Facebook pixel events tracking in their browser, then you would not get any of these events over to Facebook, and they would simply be missing from the attribution from the tracking. And so server-side event API, what that does is it sends in an event for each purchase event directly from the server, and it sends all the user information that is attached to the purchase, to the order, in this case, along with that pixel. And the way this mechanism works is that if there is a browser event that already was sent from the browser, and there is a server-side event sent for the same event, for the same order, then these 2 events are deduplicated on Facebook's end. And Facebook will recognize that, oh, that's the server-side event that matches up with that browser event, so no problem, we don't need to count that. But if there is no browser event for that order and they're getting the server-side event, bam, then they can use that server-side event for attribution, even though the browser event didn't fire at all and they don't know anything about that. So it's very simple to enable the server-side events. You simply click the pencil icon here and just simply click on this checkbox here to enable it. Then you update. It'll update. You get the confirmation here in a minute. Pixel saved. And then you can see here server-side API event is green. Now, very important thing that you should in any case do and go through, and that is you should go into the notification settings over here and make sure that there is an email registered here that you can receive notifications in the event that our access tokens for this pixel that we are using, that we need to fire the server-side events, that in case the access token is expired, you get an email notification, which is very simple. You just simply need to come back into Trackify and open the user interface, and it'll prompt you once you're there. It'll tell you here, this pixel has an expired token. You want to renew it? You just click yes. Okay, then the pixel is renewed. And so in order for you not to come into the interface every single day to just check and make sure that the pixel token didn't expire, you want to receive the notifications here, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna put my email in here for the time being, and you put in a name. And if you have different people on your staff that are kind of in charge of different parts, then you can select or deselect the different criteria here that you want to have the notification. But by default, any expired pixel tokens go notification to one email, and that's all. So at the end, you have to click save here and make sure, oh, that email already exists. Well, yeah, okay, good. So this will work just fine for you. It'll show up down here, and I don't know. Let's try something else here so that you see how it works. Let's try that. That also exists already. Let's just put something bogus in here. That usually doesn't happen. This is just an effect of this thing running in this demo shop that the app had been installed before, and so things are slightly out of whack there sometimes. So here you can see the email is there. Now it shows up and it shows you here what's going on. You can unsubscribe an email, which we're saying, as per the requirements, we're sending up unsubscribe links, but you want to make sure that the email address that you want to receive the notifications on, that it does not get unsubscribed, right? So if you should by mistake unsubscribe, and you can come back here into the notification settings and you find your email here, and you see, oh wow, it's unsubscribed, then go ahead and uncheck that. Make sure it's not unsubscribed. Should show up just like this. All right, so that's that. Now, let's go back to this idea here. Let me just fill you in with the additional pixels that you could add here for tracking specific niches. So let's see what we have here in the shop for tags. Let me just see a little bit here. We probably, we can just kind of go in here and see what's going on. If there is anything like our normal tags in here. Yeah, okay, so there's one. There's one right there. Let me just see if the right kind of tags are there. Sorry, I should have prepared this a little bit better. Yeah, so this is kind of the format of our tracking tags. So I would recommend that you use these, but you can do that any way you want. So all right, look, let's get back into the interface here. So I'm adding another pixel here. I'm going to put in a tag pixel. And the pixel that I'm going to use is just simply this one here, Trackify tag pixel. So if you don't have different pixels set up yet, you can simply create them in Facebook. You can either create them in your Facebook Business Manager or in your ad account. And there are training videos for that on our help site. If you don't know how to do that, there's a walkthrough there. I don't want to take the time to show you that in detail right now, how to actually generate those. I think this is actually even part of the instruction video that's in here. If I'm not mistaken, there's actually an installation or like a part where I go in and actually create a new tag pixel, and it's shown in there as well. So as pixel type, we're going to set niche tag pixel, and then you should actually have all the tags that are available for this show up here. I'm just simply going to set this up as our track math. So you can type in here and then it'll narrow down the list. So there you go. This is the pixel I want to add, and I just want to add it. You could add multiple tags here. So you can do this as you wish. And then you can see here, down here is the niche tag pixel right here. And you can see here the context for which that pixel fires is right here. And there you go. So let's take a quick look at what that looks like in Facebook Pixel Helper when we visit one of these products here that, oh, this is only in preview, so I'm not quite sure if that'll work. I'm not quite sure why that is only in preview. You see here, why is that not? Okay, so let's select online store here and save. Now we should be able to just actually visit the product directly, hopefully, if this is saved. Go on Shopify. There you go. Okay, now we can view the product in a new page. And with Facebook Pixel Helper being open here like this, you can now see there are 2 pixels firing here. So after a few minutes, the third one will show up as well. So it can take a few minutes for this to update and to go through. You can see here now at this time we have the training accounts pixel and the backup pixel that are firing here, and we don't have the additional pixel, the tag pixel firing just yet. All right, cool. So that's the installation for the additional tag pixels. So some users have found that it is a benefit to track audiences that are completely different interests on different pixels and build up the data that you get gathering on one pixel, and then optimize your ads for that or optimize your audience building for that. And that's generally a good idea. By the way, there is additional information on how to tag your products and how to kind of go about creating tags for your entire shop and kind of making a good system of tags for your shop. And that is here in this video about Trackify Analytics. It's here because it kind of relates to this, because we have the tag information here. The tag reports are over here. Some of these reports work in real time, and some of the reports work with some delay. We're doing some maintenance on that right now, and you can see here some cool graphics that you can see here. There are good analytics reports here by pixels. There are reports by tags, by products, by the devices that you have in the shop. Here's Windows, Chrome, 3 events. And if you have UTM parameters that you use in Facebook or in other traffic sources, that can also be part of the report that shows up here in the Trackify Analytics screen. You can also, once you have data, there's no data here on these right now because I just now installed these pixels, but once you have multiple days of data, you can also click on here and you get a cool breakdown here of the main events with the conversion ratios and conversion rates from one step to the next, right? So up here we have, let's collapse this again. Up here we have view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, and purchase. And you have here the count, the average value. This average value relates to the purchase value, right? So if you have the total purchase value here, if you have purchases that are tracked here, then you have an average value for all view content events. So it's basically the purchase value divided by the view content. That's the average value for each event based on the purchase value that came from that, or that relates to that event. All right, does that make sense? I hope. So add to cart and initiate checkout also have conversion rates numbers in here. And then you also have that here over here is a summary where you see all events for whatever the time frame is that is selected. And then you have key performance indicators here where you can easily see the conversion rates from one key conversion step to the next. And this is also captured here in these new charts, pie charts, and graphics, so that it's really easy to see, what's going on. Okay, so let's collapse out of that. So that's an important thing here. Again, the video about the tagging, I would definitely suggest that you go through this and watch it and make sure that you have a good system of concise tags, not too many tags, not tags that are kind of ambivalent and nebulous and you don't remember after a while what you meant with them. So the more concisely you're going to tag your products in your shop, the better your reports. So definitely do that. That'll really help you out. So then next, let's finish this webinar with that, and that is the audience manager. And I want to go into the custom audience builder here and just simply show you the power of this bulk custom audience builder. So what you can do here is you can build an audience based on, let's say, one of the tags, okay? So let's say this here is my math fan audience, math fans, let's just call it that, okay? Nice and short. So we're going to select this ad account that we've been using. We're going to select the main pixel, training accounts pixel. And then the filter options are going to be event-based. And here I can pull down and select all the events that I want to create a custom audience for, okay? So all these events, the ones you check, each of these event types will get a separate custom audience built in this bulk audience builder. And now in this segment here, I'm going to set up the audience rules. So I'm going to select here the content name. That is the one that captures the tags. And this here, most of the time, you want to set this rule here, leave it on contains. If you set this to equal, you kind of have too much narrowed, you have it too narrowed down and it doesn't work so well. And then here, you simply put all or part of the name of the tag that you're using. So in this case, it would be this, and hit enter, so it turns into a tag, and there you go. So that is my rule now. So I'm building custom audiences here, one for each of these event types for this particular filter criterion. And now I'm going to select different look back periods. So look back period, that means how long the audience members will stay in that audience after they trigger an event that matches the criteria, right? So in the view content event, they will stay. I'm going to build an audience here that lasts for 7 days. So if they hit the view content event today, after 7, they'll go into the audience right away. And then after 7 days, they'll be removed from that audience. And same for the 30-day audience, and for all the other values here. So usually, kind of what I do, I create 3 audiences at a time. You can create as many as you want. You just simply click all of them, or whichever ones you want to use and which ones you don't use. You simply select which look back periods you want to use, and then it will create one audience for each look back period for each event type for this rule. Okay. So that means it's actually kind of like an audience multiplier, right? Because it builds audiences. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 event types. We have one filter criteria. That's always the same, right? So even if you have multiple filter criteria, that will just, all rules will be applied to all audiences. So we have 5 event types over here, and we have 3 look back periods. So that means we're about to build 15 audiences here, right? So let's do that. Create custom audience processing, and there you go. You have an audience report Most of them will say congratulations, and then they'll give you the actual audience name here. You see automatically the name that we entered here was Math Fans, and so it automatically adds the event type and then the duration of the look back, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is for the 7 days, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 30 days, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 180 days. And there you go, you close it, and then you can see these audiences over here in your audience list. So you can see here, pre-selected is the same ad account that you've already been using. So it's the one that's called training account, and it shows these audiences that you've just created here up on top. And the next step here, if you want to go ahead and build lookalike audiences from these, that is can also be done in bulk. And the fastest and easiest way to do that is by selecting multiple audiences here. So let's say you want to go for the lookalike audiences based on 7-day viewers of viewers, and then 7-day, let's say 7-day add to carts. Where did that go? Well, let's just say initiate checkout. Maybe I guess I didn't check the other one. Anyway, so you select multiple audiences, however many lookalike audiences you want to create. And now when you click create lookalikes from selected, it will go ahead and switch you over to the interface for the lookalike audience builder, and it will pre-select the base audiences that you've clicked on the list here. And that's the shortcut. That's the easy part, right? That's the easiest way to simply just get the audiences up in the list, and the audience list over here. Then select the ones that you want to use. And then for each of the audiences, they will be popped into the base audience field here. And for each of the audiences you've selected, you will now create a lookalike audience. And again, there's a selection scale here for the audience sizes, where you can select one or more, right? And again, this will act like a multiplier. Well, you have to select the country here. Let's see, United States of America. So you only have to select either a country or a region. You can ignore this here that it says that. It won't bother you. So then here is a country classification. So if you select multiple audience and multiple countries, you can either decide if you want to just combine the audiences of the two countries into one, or if you want to run a separate lookalike audiences for each country. So again, it's a multiplier, right? So I have 4 base audiences selected here, and I have now 2 countries. And if I select separate, then that will be separate audiences, right? One of this for United States, one of this for Canada, one of this for United States. So it's a multiplier. So 4 times 2 is 8. And now this will be multiplied by the audience sizes as well. So each of these 8 audiences will show up as 1%, 3%, and 7%. So this refers to the audience size. Basically, the definition of that is that a lookalike audience consists of the 1% of the Facebook users in that country that is part of the audience that are most similar to the base audience that you use, right? Okay, so we have 4 times 2, that's 8 times 3, that's 24. And in this case, you get a little warning here, or a little confirmation dialogue, that just to make sure that you don't all of a sudden create 500 lookalike audiences, even though you didn't mean to. And so you can kind of check, oh yeah, 24, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I wanted. So let's click yes, and we're done. Then you get the confirmation here as well. Kind of similar to how it was before. Let's wait for a second here. Yeah, and so this is it. It's all here. It's all wonderful. You click close, and then you can see those audiences here in your audience list as well. And you will also see them in Facebook, and they will populate. And you can see here the lookalike is based on the country, the size, and here's what it is: Math Fans, initiate checkout 180 days. So That's how the naming scheme works for the lookalike audiences. All right. Well, I thank you so much for joining me on this intro webinar. I think we are a little bit over the 30 minutes that we allotted for it. I hope you don't mind that. If you have any questions, submit them in the chat, and we will answer them in the subsequent forums. And anytime you have any question about Trackify and about how to use it and how to get more out of it, go ahead and reach out to our support team here. Everyone here is awesome and very knowledgeable, and they usually reply within a few hours. That's literally around the clock within a few hours. So it doesn't matter which time zone you're on. We're striving for building this out to be reachable 24/7, but you usually don't have to wait very long until you can find a solution there. So thanks again for watching. Look out for a link to the follow-up webinar where we go more in depth into more features of Trackify. And so long, so far, this is Thomas Bartke signing off. Thank you very much for using Trackify, and I'll talk to you soon.